second, you see a little red tab pop up like it just did, and that means we are live.
This shit's fire.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live Pen to Gas podcast on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, wherever you are. It's actually cold and rainy here now. I was actually sleeping this morning, but besides all that, it's an absolute honor, and I've been so excited to sit down with my friend and the legend himself, Kyle McGill. But before we get into this episode is sponsored by Next Level Financial. Take control of your financial future. Get your complimentary financial analysis today by Seth Starnes. It is something that I highly recommend everybody do. It's painless. It's easy. Trust me, everybody wants to get ahead. This is the way to do it. So listen to what I'm saying. Next Level Financial. And Kyle, you know what I tell everybody? Listen, we all work hard for a living, and our money's not easy to come by. When we make a choice to spend our money on, I tell people don't buy an off-the-rack suit, because for 90% of us, it's not going to fit you correctly. When you could take that money and get a full custom suit, specifically tailored, measured for you and you alone, right? I recommend bisontrack.com. You guys see the suit. I got everything all through Bison, right? There's some of the most amazing people you're ever going to meet in your whole life, and you're going to be glad you did and made that switch. So bisontrack.com. Christmas is coming up. Bro, the New Year's coming right around the corner. Treat yourself. Love yourself. You deserve it. Be fast. Stay safe. Join the herd. There you go. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor to sit down with my friend and the legend, Kyle McGill. Bro, what is up?
What is up, Chris? Thank you for having me, man.
Listen, the honor is absolutely all mine, man. I've been super excited about this. We've had several phone conversations and a video chat yesterday, and I'm always the build up is the journey, right? Sitting down, doing this, actually face to face, going live is the end destination, and what proper mega fun it is, right?
That's right.
And it's an absolute honor to sit here, Kyle. And listen, we got so much to talk about, brother. So let's start from the very beginning. Your journey on two wheels.
Kind of started out like most kids. Dad bought me a dirt bike. Well, me and my brother. Mid 80s. I was probably 2 foot tall, maybe a little bit more. But my dad brings home a DS80 Suzuki old two-stroke, and almost killed myself on it on the first day. I was like, I figured, because my dad didn't know how to ride a motorcycle, so he couldn't teach us. And so me and my older brother learned together. And as soon as I got on that thing and figured out how to use the clutch and the gas, I ripped across the field and went straight into the woods, didn't stop, and hit a log and knocked myself out. And I was hooked. I'm like, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. So rode dirt a little bit. I grew up in Vermont, so there weren't a lot of motocross tracks or anything to go to. Luckily, I lived in very rural Vermont, out in the woods, had lots of trails, things like that. So, went from the DS80, and then my dad got us a couple just basic quads, like 4 tracks, nothing, not sport quads or anything. And then, believe it or not, my road experience started at about 12 or 13 on an XR100, because I finally had a bike that I could ride well. And being out in rural Vermont, my friends were, 5-8 miles away, but in a town with no cops. So I would ride my XR100 full blast down the country roads, paved roads, and I was just like, the speed got to me. I loved it. Riding through the woods is fun. Crashing on a dirt bike is not fun. Hitting trees is not fun. Exactly. Almost lost a finger one time, but yeah. So I was riding the XR100. My dad's like, well, I'm not going to be able to keep him off the street. I should get him something a little bit more geared. So when I was like 14, he got me a NX 250, the Honda dual sport bike from the early 90s. And man, I could lean on that thing. I just loved it. I loved it. And I started seeing road racing on TV at like 12 or 13 years old. And again, I was like, that is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So that turned into, at 17, in commercial breaks on the road racing, there would be commercials for MMI, Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. I'm like, well, that's going to get me into road racing, you know? So at 17, I left Vermont. I moved out to Arizona and to Phoenix, and I went to MMI. I bought a street bike. My first street bike was when I was 17. I bought a CBR 600 F2, and I rode it for like 3 weeks on the street. And then I bought a race bike. There was a dealership that had a race bike already built, bodywork, Two Brothers exhaust, and it was an F2, so it was the same bike. So I bought that. I got rid of the street bike and started racing. And back then, they didn't have track days, right? There was a test and tune day once every couple months, but I didn't have money. I barely had enough money to go racing. So it was one of those deals. You show up on Saturday, you take the class on Saturday, and you race on Sunday. And
Firebird, right?
yeah,
Yep.
Firebird Raceway.
Yep.
I mean,
That's
Kevin
where I
Elliott,
started.
God bless his soul, was still out there, when I started in 94.
What year did you go to MMI? Because I went out there, it was 90, 98 or 99. I can't remember.
I did 93, 94.
Okay.
Yeah, graduated in 94, end of 94. And I raced the CCS Southwest region back then, which was Firebird in Vegas.
Yep.
Vegas Classic course, not where the Speedway is. And I sold the street bike, and honestly, since then, I might have 3,000 or 4,000 miles on the street, if that, and I've got 40, 50, 60,000 miles on a racetrack, but I'm too used to mentally, when I get on a bike, as soon as I start going, I need to be even at a track day, I need to be pushing 75, 80, 85, 90% of my ability. And you can't do that on the street. So it makes it not as exciting for me. And there's all those damn cages out there that are going to run you over,
Especially with these days, and everybody doing this,
Oh,
driving down the road,
Yes, exactly.
So.
And I even get scared of, I work in the industry. I've been in the industry ever since I went to MMI. So 30 years last year. And I see these cell phones mounted to motorcycles. And it's like, how much attention is that drawing away? Somebody once asked, what's the best place to put your cell phone on your bike? And I said, in your pocket. So you're not looking at it. You need to be aware, not just for you, but everyone else around you. It's, but it's not that I, am against riding on the street. It's just, it's not for me. I love everyone out there on a bike. It's my industry. If there weren't people on the street, I wouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
So, but it's just not my bag.
Yeah. No, it's scary nowadays, especially because of the cell phone. Nobody pays attention, and I feel like every time I do it, even right now, I'm battling, right? Like Leonidas versus all the Persians out there driving in these cars because nobody cares. Nobody's paying attention. They'll hit you and run, not even think.
Well,
much less give two shits about it, right?
Yeah. And living in the DC area is different too. I mean, if I was further out near where you are in Central Virginia or whatever, you're near Roanoke, right?
I'm in Roanoke.
You're in, yeah. So if I was out there, it might be a different story, but around here, it takes me 45 minutes to get to somewhere that would be enjoyable to ride. So, and I'm too busy working anyway. So I devote myself to the track.
I know that's right. I love it, man. So listen, you got so many years racing, man. So tell us your journey about obviously not riding much on the street and your whole race career, because there's been many, many, many miles and many championships and successes. And of course, with the successes comes the failure. And we all know motorcycle racing is such a mental game right here, right? And how do you overcome all the failures, and recommendations to people that are listening to this or that's going to listen to this, how to succeed at club racing and all that good stuff?
Well, the most important thing about club racing is you're there to have fun. And if you're not having fun, then that doesn't mean don't do it. Figure out why you're not having fun. Because for the first 7, 8, 9 seasons of racing for me, I raced middleweight, on an F2 for the first few years. And I wasn't winning. I wasn't even a podium guy. I mean, in probably my first 150 races, I think I had 4 or 5 plaques, and they were giving out plaques for 5th place back then. I had like 2 fifths and 3 thirds over 6 or 8 years, but I was loving it. I was having fun, and that's all that mattered. You know, show up, and just do your thing. And wherever I didn't go running to the results to see where I finished. If I was mid pack, I was happy. Because I got out there, I completed the race, I came home in one piece. I had my crashes, absolutely had my crashes. Luckily, never. I've had a couple violent ones, but I didn't. I came away fairly unscathed. So, I moved back to after racing out in the Southwest. I moved back to Vermont for a couple of years, and I didn't race during those times. There's really nothing up there except New Hampshire, uh, and but then I moved to Maryland in 2000, and I've been in this area ever since, except for a few hiatuses here and there. And when I got to Maryland, I was looking in the paper, and I was like, I found out there was a track, Summit Point, an hour away. I'm like, oh my God. And within 3 days, I had another bike. I went out, I found a race bike, and boom, I was back at the track doing my thing. So from 2000 through, that would be 2013. Yeah, 2013 was my last season of that stretch. I raced a Suzuki, a Yamaha. I, again, was still a mid-pack guy, usually a lot of times in the top 10, but I didn't get to go to the podium. I didn't have any plaques. And my last year out there in 2013, I won my first race, but it was a team challenge. So luckily I had 2 amazing teammates, Ryan Jones, who's been, a major player in my life as a friend and also as a racing buddy. I actually got him to get off dirt bikes, and because he was a motocross and supercross phenom. He raced against Travis Pastrana at Loretta Lynn's when he was a little kid. I met him out in Winchester, and he's like, "Hey, I need a roommate." I'm like, "Well, cool. I need a place to live." He's like, "You don't have to pay rent if you're my tech at my races, my dirt bike races."
Perfect.
Like, done.
That
So we did that. I went off on a little tangent here, but Ryan deserves some credit here.
is that the same Ron Jones I had on my podcast?
Yeah, Scooter, Ryan
Yeah.
Jones. Yeah, he turned. I dragged him kicking and screaming from dirt bikes and put him on my CB 919 Hornet, which I sent you a picture, that green bike that I'm like, dude, I have a track day this weekend. You don't have a race. I got 3 sets of leathers. Let's go. And so I sent him out on the track, and he comes back after his first session, permagrin, and he goes, "Kyle, where did the fast guys hit the brakes?" Shit.
I created a monster. Yes.
That's exactly what I said. So anyway, and he just went out and killed it. But so of course, when I got a chance to do the team challenge, I got Scooter to be my leadoff guy. I still call him Scooter, but everyone knows him now as Ryan. And then I had Dustin Young, who had been doing some AMA stuff and ASRA stuff, and he was my second guy. And all I had to do was bring the bike home. And it was one of the team challenges that was 100 laps at Summit instead of the 75. And of course, Ryan went out and ran on this, and we were on a POS 750, like horrible suspension, and we were up against leader bikes. I mean, John Couch and Tim Beamister were first and second, and we were third on the 750 because of how fast Ryan ran. And Dustin gets on, holds it, and I get on, and I drop 2 spots, and I'll try and shorten this a little bit. But in the last 30 laps that I was on the track, I come out at 2 at Summit, and I see Tim Beamister blown up, leaned up against the wall. I'm like, well, there's one spot, because they were like 4 laps ahead. And I'm looking back because the bike's like barely handling at this point. I mean, it's slip sliding all over the place. So I'm making sure I'm not holding people up. and waving them by when I see, and I look back and John Couch is there, and TOBC Racing, and so I wave him by, point to the inside of 3, and just kept it wide. John comes through, gives me a little wave, and a lap later, I come through 2, and there's John Couch parked right next to Tim Beamister blown up, leaning up against the wall. So I'm like, I just got to bring this shit home, right? And I 4 laps to go, the fuel light comes on, or 5 laps to go, the fuel light comes on. So I'm not going to risk it. I'm coming in, and you're splash and go. So my guys are on pit wall, and as I come around to give them the sign I'm coming in, they're looking down at the stopwatch. They never looked at me. They didn't see me pat my head. So when I come back around and come flying in, everyone's on the wrong side of pit road. They all see me, and they come running across. And Juan Gooch, Trouble, was my gas man. He's dumping gas in there, and he starts counting down from 10, and he gets to 6. I'm like, get the fuck off. That's enough. Hop on the bike, rip out there, come into, finish the race, come into the pits, no idea where we're at. Dustin runs up to timing and scoring to find out where we finished. And he comes running back down from the tower. And I stand up because I'm exhausted. I'd never run 30 plus race laps in a row. I was done. And I stand up, and he goes like this, like number 1. And I just went like that, and I started bawling. I mean, it was nuts. And that picture actually got caught by Michael Smith Photography. We're still friends today. And it's the happiest moment of my life in racing up until 3 years ago.
I love it, man. Yeah,
But,
I love
yeah,
it.
that was my first win.
The emotions, man. It's absolutely amazing. And I just want to give a shout out to Jessica Bolin Stouffer. She's actually watching right now.
Yeah, she is.
Yep, Josh Shriver, Ricky and Jackie K, my man Mark 10, and my man Amelia. Man, what is up, everyone? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If anybody has any questions for Kyle, comment down below, and I'll post it up out here. But Kyle, yeah, your first win endurance. I'm a huge fan of endurance racing. I think it's awesome, right? Because you get so many laps, and it's a challenge unlike solo racing, because you got to set up a bike for multiple people that the riding style is nowhere near the same. One weighs more than the other. Everybody likes their clip-ons and their clutch and their levers and their rear sets all in different positions, right? So everybody's got to find this happy medium. And that's another way that everybody comes together. And it's like a separate marriage away from solo racing, kind of, right? It's hard to explain to people, but it's such a beautiful thing to see.
It's like your side chick.
Bro, right? And we actually, Jessica says, "Hey, that's my bestie." Thank you so much. You're not talking about me. I know you're talking about Kyle, but thank you, Jessica. You're awesome.
Jesse's amazing. I met her through Roger Lyle. She that's her godfather, and she needed help getting a bike put together. I drove out to Pennsylvania. Hadn't even met her before. Helped her get her bodywork set up on her KTM, and then helped her get her trailer set up. And I wasn't even doing track days at that time. So and she needed coaching, and I kind of did coaching over the phone. Like, she would get film, video, and we talk, and I try and it was very difficult to coach somebody when you're not with them on the track. But Jessie's an amazing girl, wonderful family, wonderful kids. So kudos to her.
Yep, absolutely. Kudos. And thanks so much for that post you put out, Jessica. It absolutely made my day when I read it. And again, nothing but love. And again, it's an honor, absolute honor. Man, I don't even know what to say. Bro, absolutely proper mega on that, Jessica. Nothing but love for sure. So, Kyle, let's just talk about Mark and Mid-Atlantic road racing and all that.
Yeah. So Mark, I'm wearing the hoodie. Mark is the Mid-Atlantic road racing crew. Last year we celebrated our 40th anniversary of being the main safety crew for motorcycle road racing at Summit Point. We are kind of we've really only ever done Summit Point, except we are invited every year to work Daytona as well. So we get to, we're the only known safety crew that is brought from other places to go work Daytona. It's all volunteer. We have members from all over the East Coast. I mean, we have people that come from Vermont, where I'm from, and New Hampshire to work at Summit Point as a volunteer and bust their ass for 72 hours for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and water. So it's just an amazing, amazing group of people.
It's family.
It is. It
It's
absolutely is.
100% family.
I was honored to be voted onto the executive committee a couple years ago as the treasurer. There's 8 of us. Andrea Helmbach is our president. Rick Beggs is in there. My boss, my best friend and teammate, Greg LaRue, wonderful guy. And everyone else. Jessie is also on the executive committee now. She got voted in last year. It's just a huge family, and there's so many people. I'm not going to be able to name you all because it would just take up the rest of the podcast. But I'm proud. I'm honored to be a part of Mark. The first time I met a Mark member was when they were picking me up off the ground when I crashed under the bridge between 9 and 10. Lori Kobayashi, Kumi, her sister, we're still great friends. But I, hit the ground. I knew I was hurt. I threw my hands up in the air to let them know, like, I'm awake. I'm just not moving yet, And next thing I know, there's this 5-foot girl, in my face, like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. She goes, can you walk? I said, I'm not sure. Let's find out. So this little girl picks me up, and I go to take one step, and my ankle's busted, and I fell over. She basically half fireman carried me all the way to the corner turn 10 flag station up that embankment. And I was like, this woman was amazing. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
I'm in love with Mark. Like, these people are, I wouldn't feel safe without them out there, So kudos to Mark. I'm glad I'm here to represent you. And I hope for, things are a little different recently with the the new owners of Azra. Unfortunately opted to use their own safety crew. And since Summit Point is the only track that we ever worked because of, location and everything, you can't get volunteers to drive that many more hundreds of miles and still have a crew. So they opted to go with somebody else. So we, as of right now, are not doing anything. And it's frustrating. It's sad. I wish different decisions were made. I'm not here to call anyone out or anything. It just, I think it was odd that we were turned away after having 40 years of experience of being the best safety crew in the East Coast. So hopefully things change. And, in the future, hopefully you'll see our Mark logos back out there on the corner workers.
I hope so, man. I really do. It's we need people like you, right? The best crew there is, and that speaks volumes. Unfortunately, in our sport, as all sports, there's decisions that made that we don't agree with and we don't understand, but that's don't mean that we can keep the best down, right? So the cream always rises to this top. So you guys will absolutely, and women, be back out there doing what you love to do, right? And I'm full supporter. Let's go. If there's anything I can do to help you guys out, Mark and everybody, let me know. I'll do it. I'm on board. So whatever I can do to help you guys out, I'm in. You got my number. Call me up. We'll do a video chat. We'll do podcasts, whatever it is. You let me know. I got you guys.
And we are not bowing out. This is
That's right.
Temporary.
That's right. That's right. And so Jessica also says, you were the best. Thank you for all your help.
She's talking about coaching and helping her out.
Yeah.
I helped her to set up her trailer into a race trailer, and I didn't hang everything perfectly straight. And I'm like, it's close enough for me, but it worked out. I mean, she has one of the nicest race trailers I've seen that for a, 8 by 12 or 16, whatever it is.
I love it.
She was there for a track day, and I went and took a session off and took a nap inside her trailer. She came in, she's like, what are you doing?
It's nap time. Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. Kenneth says, definitely family. Absolutely, it is.
Thanks for coming in, Ken. Miss
Yeah,
you
Ken.
guys.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
He's one of the ones from Vermont.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
him and his wife come down, and they've helped at. I mean, they're at Daytona. They're everywhere. They're great.
I
Ken is
love
an
it.
awesome dude.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Ken. Josh
Mm.
says Mark with a big heart emoji.
Josh is
Absolutely.
a long time Mark member. Last time I saw him, he was working turn 7 at Summit for the ASRA races last year. Not as a Mark member at that point, but he's Mark. He's Mark to the heart. But he was, you know, luckily some of the members are still able to go out and do what they love, even with the new organization. And I'm all for it. I want them out there, and I want the best people on the track for safety reasons. Just because our logo is not on those people, that's
Don't
who I
mean we're
want.
not there. Right.
Because, newsflash, I'm coming back next year after a few years off, and I'm going to want the best people out there. So,
Absolutely.
and when I see a Mark member out there, I know that the best people are out there. So
I love it. I love it, man. This is such an awesome story. And Kenneth also says Mark is the best and have trained some of the best. Yeah.
yes, our training school is like we don't just hire somebody and throw them on a corner. You have to go through a full day of training in every aspect of you know and Jesse's sons, Noah, he took the day of training and we can leave him on a corner by himself as a captain. And he's amazing, whether there's massive crashes in his section or anything. I mean, Mark does the best training and we have the best people. I can't say enough good stuff about him.
I
So.
love it. So, Kyle, let me ask you this: how do people sign up to get involved with?
So you can go to our website. I should know it off the top of my head. Mark.org, marrc.org, I believe. You can contact me personally, uh, you know, through Facebook, whatever, DM me, and I can get you signed up. The thing is, this year, because of the changes, we may only have one event this year, which will be an N2 track day or evolve. I'm going to get in trouble for this. It's either an evolve or an N2 track day. But that is probably the only event we're working because normally throughout the last 30 years, we would on a race weekend at Summit, we would have the track on Friday and do a Mark track day. So we completely ran the track day and the safety crew. Road race instruction school, everything. You could get your license on Friday. And then for the rest of the weekend, we would just run safety. We'd all the corner marshals, crash truck, everything else we would take care of. So we would be there for the whole weekend doing stuff. With the new organization, we're not a part of it anymore. They've like I said, they've opted. They brought in their own track day for Friday, and they bring in their own safety members for the rest of the weekend. So this is going to be the first year we're not doing any racing, and we have one track day. We are hoping things might change in the future, but even if I can't get you signed, I'll tell you where to go to help. I'll get you out there.
Yeah, Jessica put a link up right here,
Oh,
and
there you go.
yep,
MidAtlanticRoadRacingClub.wordpress.com.
yep. There you guys go. I wonder if I can copy this right now. You know what? Let me start. So afterwards, what I'll do is I'll put it in the description on the podcast when I post it out on all socials and Spotify and all that. So if anybody's interested, listen. And I tell everybody how important it is, man. Without our corner marshal workers, dude, nobody's racing up the race. Corner marshals and an ambulance, nobody's doing nothing in air fences, right? We got to have those in place in order for people like Kyle and Jessica and everybody else that loves the sport to show up and do what they love to do, go fast and everything, right? So listen, to all the corner marshal workers, we love every single one of you. It's absolutely so important what you guys do, and women, every single one of y'all are proper mega. And yeah, it's I love it, man. I love it. I love to hear the stories and the passions that go, because they deserve to have all their stories told too, as well, right? Because without them in our beautiful small circus, right, everybody's got
That's
an
right.
important part to play, and everybody's part is just as important as Jake Gagne, right? The tire changing guy, the suspension guy, the corner marshal, the aim, everybody, the whole nine.
Everything.
The guys over there freaking cooking up tacos on the side at the clubhouse for you to get, right. They're just
Food
as
is
important.
important. Food is really
Absolutely. And
important.
water, right? So yeah, let's go. Josh says, I remember holding Kyle's red solo cup at Summit Point when I was 16 years of age when he visited the corner worker camp. Is there a cool story that goes behind this, Kyle?
I don't remember it. There are so many stories, but if he was holding my red solo cup, I'm assuming that wasn't during the race day.
Red solo cup. Yeah, I love it,
right.
man. Let's go.
Josh, I love you, man.
Yeah, absolutely nothing but love, Josh, and thanks for tuning in, my friend. Turn 12. You had mentioned something about turn 12.
Turn 12. So when you see me, if I go around the track and I do that, it's 1, 2. It's my turn 12 thing. It's kind of like the shocker, but a little different. Backwards. So turn 12 is basically we're just a group of guys and girls that are, they're race fans, they're spectators, but a lot of them are retired road racers. Some of there's actually a couple retired corner marshals. Kumi Kobayashi, the sister of the girl that first picked me up back 20 years ago, is a member. John Campbell, our mayor. A lot of us original members have nicknames. We have Grass Stains, Outback, I'm Special K. But basically, we're huge fans. We are always at Summit. As you go through turn 6 through the carousel, we camp on the outside of the track right there. During every race, we are at the fence cheering on everyone. Like, sure, we might have our favorites race to race, but on the cool down lap, we are all at the fence and we applaud and wave and give thumbs up to every single rider that goes by, all the way down to the last guy, because we wouldn't be there without them. And so and they're one of my sponsors this year. I mean, I couldn't. I've been a member of T12 for 20 years, so their sticker will definitely be on my bike. But yeah, they're wonderful people who love the sport and they want to keep it in their hearts. And the way to do it is to come spectate. I mean, we show up with scaffolding sometimes and set up scaffolding so we're sitting up high, and where we are, you can see turn 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. It's the best part of the track to see a lot of action. So if you're out there, if you're a racer, it means a lot back to us when you're coming around on your cool down lap to give us a little wave or, hit your rev limiter a little bit. Mark Heckles comes by and he stands up on his bike and he does this like he's drinking a beer. Arnie Hastings always gives us a huge wave. Ryan Jones, a lot of the guys have been racing there for a long time, know who we are. I mean, we're not just some group of yoo-hoos like standing off to the side and waving at everyone. People, and a lot of those racers, if they're done for the day or whatever, they'll come down to turn 12 to watch the rest of the races of the weekend and hang out with us. Dave Loikitz, he's turned 12 member. He's been around for forever. I mean, Nate Kern, when he used to come to Summit a lot, he'd come down and he'd play cornhole with us or horseshoes. So many people. Yeah,
I love
it's
is this at Summit?
Yeah, we're only at Summit.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
Outside it, so you go to turn 6 and you get drunk and you see double, and that's why it's turn 12. I tell people, like, I'm part of turn 12. There's only 10 turns here. You don't get it. The 11th turn is off the track. The 12th turn is into our camp spot.
I love it, dude. That's freaking awesome, dude. I love it. I love it. So Matt, what is up, Matt? He says, "What is up, Kyle?"
He is on our executive committee as well. Matt, wonderful dude. One thing with Matt is, like, when we're in our executive EC meetings, if we need something typed up, like we're brainstorming something, right? And we're trying to figure out like, okay, well, we're going to have to write this. We're going to have to do this. And by the end of the conversation, Matt clicks and he goes, how does this look? And he's already written it. And it's like, perfect. Post it.
Love it, dude. I love it. Love it. That's awesome.
Matt is really good people. He's a good racer, and honored to have him on the team.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matt. It's an honor to have you here watching too as well. So you, my friend, is proper mega. Austin says, turn 12 with the let's go, boy. Love it.
I love Austin. So Austin is Brian is his father, and Brian this is a great story. So with Ryan Jones, I was on his team for 5 or 6 Daytona 200s, right? And Brian and Jeff Gokenauer, Austin's father, Brian and Jeff Gokenauer, are Scooter's like number 1 and number 2 guys on the team, right? Almost like co-crew chiefs. So we would go to Daytona, and one year we got a hotel. It was one of the first years we went. Brian's a big dude. Austin's dad is a big dude, and I'm not. And we only got one hotel room with 2 queen-size beds. And there's 4 of us, 4 grown men. And so we're like, whatever. And I got stuck with Brian, and I'm laying there, I'm trying to sleep. And this dude, he's snoring, and he rolls over, and his whole arm just flopped right across my face. Like, shit. So I ended up sleeping on the floor. I'm like, I can't do this. But yeah, these guys are like family to me. Austin, Brian, Jeff Gokenauer, Ryan Jones, huge, and all of their family. I mean, Ruby, Ryan's wife, his son Dylan, just so many memories of that team. 6 Daytona 200s or 5 or 6, 3 top 10s. We beat Michael Dunlop when he came for the 200 a few years back. We had to start last place in one race, and I believe finished 10th. It's been such a long, awesome road,
Beautiful journey.
And doing a pit stop at Daytona, like I was the jack man. Like we had one of those jacks that slides through the side of the bike and lifts it, and that was my job. And it's the adrenaline that goes through your body. And back then, so now they do gas and tires at the same time, right? I mean, they're doing like 9-10 second stops. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
We did, and it was the 75th Daytona 200. I can't remember what year, but it was the 75th running. FansChoice.tv was filming it, and I got one of the cameramen to come over and do a close-up, like wraparound shot while we did our pit stop. And we did a 23-second pit stop. But you couldn't gas and tires at the same time. You jump the wall, you pull the tires, gas comes out, gas comes off, tires go back on, and you go. And I mean, 23 seconds, like I work at a dealership, I help run a service department. We charge 2 hours to do the tires. We did it in 23 seconds. It was amazing. But great memories. So
love it, man. Beautiful journey. Like I said, it's motorcycle racing and the family and the community and the bonds you meet in that whole journey of this short, what we call life, right?
Yeah.
It's an absolute honor to be part of it. And the love of all the community and the stories, shit that I can even tell, but we'll save that for another podcast. We're not here for me, right? So for sure. Jessica says, Matt is amazing. Yes, he is. Austin says, turn 12, best fans out there and best people. That is a fact. And Matt says, thanks for all the love, team. Yeah, man, right back at you, buddy. Even though I know you're not talking about me, but I love you too anyway. I love it. Love it. Yeah, man. And then, turn 10 pass. You was mentioning something about to me, right?
Was that the message I sent you at 2 a.m.?
It was. Yes, it was. Yes, when I picked up the phone this morning, I was like, turn 10. Got it. I even got up straight up and came straight in here and wrote it down right here on my notebook. Turn 10 pass.
All right. So I'll tell it just because I did go. So like when I came, we haven't really talked much about my comeback season in 21, but when I came back in 2021, I was having a blast, and this is just one of the more memorable moments. But I was racing against somebody who we had a ton of fun out on the track, racing against each other, and we were on the little bikes, 300s, and I was, I couldn't get by him anywhere on the track. He just had just that little bit, and I had a fast 300. I mean, 50 horsepower. Greg Spears, my sponsor, he's the engine builder, and he swears that there isn't a 300 out there with over 50 horsepower like mine. So even with that, I couldn't get by this dude, right? So every time we come out of 9, I would try coming up the inside of him to see if I couldn't outbrake for 10. But on the 300s, you barely brake for 10. It's more like you roll off, set the front tire, and turn in. So 3 laps in a row, I come up the inside, and he'd look over. Last lap, I decided to screw with him, so I went up the outside. And I'm looking over at him, and I saw him look to the inside and then look and didn't see me because I'm over here. And as soon as he dropped off, I just held on for another quarter second and took the win. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I had a few bottles of champagne last night when I sent that text. So,
I love
I
it.
feel obligated to tell the story. It's not uber exciting, but it was a good moment, and it felt good to sneak somebody out like that and make a nice, clean, fast pass. And
Absolutely, it was.
always,
You poured a Jorge Lorenzo, right?
yeah, I guess
On
so.
the outside. Yeah,
I
for
don't know about
sure.
that, but it was pretty
Absolutely, you did. Come on, Kyle. You just said it, dude. That's exactly what he did. You did too, which is awesome. So, yeah, man, let's talk about your comeback in 2021.
So I like I said earlier, 2013, that team challenge win. That was my last race for 8 years. I continued coaching for till 2015, 2016, maybe probably 2015. And then I stopped riding. I was doing a lot of I also do storm work, post disaster recovery. So I was all over the world, or all over the country, California doing forest fires, Florida doing hurricanes, Kentucky doing tornadoes. So it pulled me away from the track, and I was living down south, then South Carolina and Florida. And one of my good friends, CJ Cohen, Coach CJ, I used to call him Chris before CJ became popular. He was a fellow coach of mine with Roger Lyle, and he knew I was living in South Carolina, and he asked and I was really close to Carolina Motorsports Park. He's like, Kyle, do you mind coming to the track this weekend? Because you live 45 minutes away, to just help me out. Like, yeah, absolutely. So I show up, and he introduces me to this guy, David Schroeder, who's a newer amateur on a 300 Ninja. And I hadn't been on, because I don't ride on the street, right? So from 2015 until 2021, I didn't really ride a motorcycle, except for a couple test rides I do when I was selling bikes at dealerships and stuff. I hadn't been on a bike, let alone a track. And I just had it in mind, I'm like, I want to try this little 300 thing. I've always been on 600s, 750s. So Dave's like, hey, help me out with some tires for the weekend, and you can race the bike, one race. So I went, I blew the money. I bought my racing license, and it was funny standing in line at the gate to get my license. Sue Sharp's working. Sue, God, I love her. She's like my mom. And David Graham, we miss you, brother. She's like, so I filled out my license application, and she's like, and I put down number 61 in the expert field. And she's like, Kyle, it's been 8 years. 3 years is the limit. You can't be an expert. I'm like, Sue, I'm coming out on a 300. Like, I don't need to be an amateur for this. Like, she's like, Kyle, you haven't even ridden. I'm like, just come on, call Kevin. All right, call Kevin. So she does. She calls Kevin Elliott, and Kevin's like, well, it's Kyle. So he's like, is there somebody in line that would vouch for him that he can ride still? And Rick Beggs is behind me in line. We're all listening. Rick's is like, he's good. so he's like, give him his white plate. So I get my white plate. I go out. My first lap, I didn't even get to do practice. My first lap on the track in 8 years was the warm-up lap of the race I was going to be in, which I ended up finishing second, which was pretty cool as well. And then I was hooked. Like the bug was back in me. I went out. I found a 300 that somebody had already built with all Spear stuff. Mark Schweber, another good friend of mine, um, sold me the bike, and I went out and just started racing again. I had a decent opportunity, financially. I made a good stock trade, quit my job, and I went racing for the year. Uh, and I did every race from New Hampshire to Daytona that year, and was in contention for 6 championships. I won 3 of them. I won a national while I was at Daytona and 2 Summit Point track championships. So I won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I won 6 championships that year. And I had never really won a race without another rider to help me, in the team challenge. So, and now, yes, I had a really fast bike. That absolutely helped. But, there's obviously, I did well, and it was awesome.
You
Like
did proper mega.
I was so proud of what I was doing, and I wasn't paying attention to the bank account, which is why the following season all I did was race Summit Point to keep my track championship, and then I haven't raced since then because I've been paying off all that debt. It wasn't that good of a stock trade, obviously, but now, I mean, like, so when I said that winning the team challenge was my happiest moment until 2021, at the end of the season in 21, got to go to Daytona. I'd run Daytona one other time back in 04. And I was having troubles with the 300 all weekend on the track, going around the banking. The bike was just weaving back and forth. CJ's daughter, Shelby, was doing manual scoring at start finish line. And she said every time I come off 4, she's like, Kyle's going to wreck at some point, But other than that, the bike was great. So in one of my races, I think I did 7 or 8 races. In one of my races, I had this amazing battle with the amateur leader. He went through all the experts, and me and him battled back and forth. And it was like both of us were winning a national championship at that point, but we battled each other, amateur to expert. And like he showed me how to go into I broke for the chicane, and he just went, right by me. I'm like, oh, so I can carry some more speed into there next time. And and then coming home with a win at Daytona, that brings us all the way back to 1989, 1988, when I first saw the Daytona 200 on TV at 13 years old and said, that's what I'm going to do. And no, it wasn't the Daytona 200. It wasn't AMA or Moto America, but I won a goddamn national championship at Daytona. And
facts.
That's the coolest fucking thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
Dude, Kyle, I said it before. You're an absolute legend, my friend. Listen, that story you just told. No, absolutely not, dude. All the lives you've touched, all the lives you still touch today in this sport, even outside, dude. Yeah, dude, you're fucking legend, bro. Give yourself a round of a hand. Absolute fucking proper mega, dude. It's it's an honor to call you my friend and sit down and have this chat with you. It's thank you so much. It's freaking awesome, dude. I love it.
I gotta say, I was so nervous coming into this. And when we talked last night, and I watched a bunch of podcasts last night too, while I was sitting out by the fire, I'm like, you definitely make it comfortable for us. And if you, I think I was telling you, my biggest fear was my Daytona acceptance speech of that championship. I got up on the podium and I said and ah, like and so I was doing this and and I was just freaked out that was going to happen throughout this entire hour. And I think I've done pretty well.
You've done amazing.
I think my boss will be proud of me.
Absolutely. I don't think you've said very much at all. So yeah, we've been doing good. I love it, dude. I freaking love it, Kyle. Listen, dude, there's so much more to talk about, man. We're almost an hour into this. So listen, let's definitely do a part 2 because there's still so much more of your journey that I want to get into. We didn't even talk about Coleman Power Sports. So let's go ahead and talk about Coleman Power Sports.
So Greg LaRue has been a friend of mine through racing. He's been a Mark member for God knows how long. And when I moved back to Virginia a few years ago, I needed a good job, like somewhere where I was going to, place my roots for a while. And I approached him. I had actually, so there's two Coleman Power Sports. There's one in Woodbridge and there's one in Falls Church.
Yep.
The Falls Church one is a mile from my house. Like I could walk there if I wanted. Greg works in Woodbridge. 25-minute commute, no big deal. But I work in Woodbridge, even though the other ones, because that's where, I mean, Rick Beggs works there. Greg Abrahams works there. These are all old road racers. And Greg, also road racer, he's like, so I told him, I said, I went to Falls Church and I'm thinking about being, parts manager or something. And he's like, fuck that, come work for me. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I'm not a tech. Like I can be a tech. I'm a C tech. So he hires me as a C tech. And I worked there for a year as an off-road tech. And then a position as a service advisor popped up. And so I switched. And now I'm the senior service advisor there. I'm making, the amount of money I should, which is great. I'm not relying on flagging hours and whatnot. But Coleman Power Sports has always been a huge supporter of road racing as well, just because of how many people are in the Coleman family that have a history in road racing. And in fact, our GM, Kim, was recognized from Mark with her own, I can't remember the name of the award. I'm sorry. I see it on her desk every time I go in there. But and if you go to Summit Point has a trailer, like, a crash pickup trailer, just a small wire one. But we like not renovate. We got it in good working condition. We got our banners on the side of it. So like if you go to Summit, you get picked up by the crash trailer. It's the Coleman Power Sports crash trailer. So, but it's a huge dealership. We sell 7 or 8 different manufacturers, different lines. So it's a lot going on. It keeps me on my toes. Greg is a wonderful boss to have until he isn't. No, I'm just kidding. He's a great, great human being. And everyone else there, it's like I come into work in the morning and I'm walking into a group of friends. Not everyone can say that. I hear people who just, oh, I've been doing this job for 20 years and it's okay. Well, I made a plan when I was 15, 14 that I'm going to be in the motorcycle industry. And I have been ever since 94. And other than my hiatus doing the storm recovery work, which was very rewarding as well.
Yes.
But no, motorcycles are in my heart. It's where I'm always going to be. I'll never get rich from it. But I don't mind going to work. That's kind of cool.
I love it, man. Yeah, listen, I'd love to sit down with everybody from Coleman Power Sports. We should do a Coleman Power Sports podcast with all the retired racers. Let's line it up. Yeah, and everybody from Mark from that club too, man. Let's do it. I'll have every single one of y'all on too, guys and girls, and let's sit down and chat and get everybody's story out there and have a proper mega good time like we're having right now, right? And
yes,
yeah, it's also a way for me to give back. So yeah, let's do it, dude. We will make this happen. To every single one of you guys watching now too. Jessica, Matt, everybody, Austin, let's do it. Hit me up. We'll make it happen. Bro, dude, this has been a lot of fun, man. Right. And I know you told me before I'm nervous. I seen your post, like I'm so nervous. I'm glad that I made you feel super comfortable, man.
You did.
Good.
I want to throw one quick shout out. You can't really see it that well, but Greg Spears Enterprises, Spears Racing. Everyone knows who it is. At least if you probably know who it is. He sponsored me in 2021. When I first talked to him years ago, he gave me a cell phone number. He's like, text me, call me anytime. Doesn't matter. He helped me out big time because I blew up my motor twice in 2021 and had to ship it off to him to have it rebuilt within a couple. Like the second time was 2 weeks before Daytona. And I had the head pulled off, shipped it to him. He redid it, sent it back so that I could race because the damn bike blew up on the dyno. But Greg just picked me up again for the 2025 season. I wish his banner was more like you could see it a little better. But I want to say thank you to Greg Spears for everything you do for me. I warms my heart. And Kevin Rodeo, Kev Dog, I love you, man. You've done so much for me.
Legend. Yes.
Gus, I'll be looking for those graphics.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Yes. I love them too, man. Everybody you
such a
just
great
mentioned.
family.
Absolutely it is, right? I haven't had the opportunity to I don't think I ever met Greg Spears or even talked to him. I'd love to have the opportunity to
Yeah,
sit down
me too.
and
We've never met in person. I talk to him all
have
the
a
time
chat
on the
with
phone,
him.
but he's
I
a
love it.
California boy. So
I love it, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? We'll make it happen for sure.
That's
Dude, Matt says sign me up, bro. Done, Jessica. That would be awesome. You already know you're in. Listen, I'm serious about that, Kyle. Get everybody from Coleman, ask them if they would something they'd be interested in doing, and everybody from Mark. And dude, we'll sit down and we'll make it happen, man. We'll have a great time. I'll put off it'll be a couple hour block, but yeah, we'll do it. We'll have fun, right? And then I'd like to get each individual one on too, so they can tell their own individual story too as well. So
absolutely.
yeah, dude. So listen, I want to get into what's my favorite part of the podcast too, is where we get to know Kyle personally away from the legend status of road racing and all that, right? So my first question for you is, as I ask quite often, is what's for dinner tonight, bro?
What's for dinner tonight?
Yeah.
Honestly, my sister just went out and picked up gourmet sandwiches from Wagshaw's. So I have like a fat, huge roast beef deli sandwich for me sitting down there waiting on me. And that'll probably be what's for dinner. Last night, so it was my stepmom's Christmas party that she does every year. And the hors d'oeuvre, whatever you want to call it, the snack table is insane. Like it's like you're walking into a Michelin star restaurant, you know. So I snacked on last night dinner was shrimp and crazy cheeses I can't pronounce the name of, and asparagus wrapped in prosciutto and tiny tomatoes hollowed out filled with corn salsa. It's the most amazing thing and the biggest pain in the ass to make. But other than that, my dinners are pretty basic.
I
So
love
I
it.
make a mean marinara sauce.
Yeah, so I love to cook too. I get it from my mom. I make a lot of homemade stuff too myself. It's I find myself being like when I go out to restaurants now I eat, I'm like, man, I can make this shit better myself for $30 freaking dollars. Get out of here, right? I can half the cost I make it better at home. Let's go.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard cooking for one though, you know.
It is. Well, I cook for me, my wife, and my son, but I find myself cooking for more because I'm like my mom. I grew up with my mom. She cooks for an army, and it's only 4 of us, right? So, but now I got leftovers and meal prepping for the rest of the couple of days of work. So let's go. I love it, man.
Yep.
Love it. So, do you have any pets? I always got my baby girl in here with me. 90% of the time, she's actually straight passed out. I'm surprised you guys can't hear her snoring because she is a snorer.
I do. And actually before I got on, I had to get all the hair off my black hoodie. I have a cat, Beethoven is his name. He's a giant orange tabby, weighs like 19 pounds.
It's a big cat.
And he's not fat. He's just
Big.
burly. Yeah, so he is who says hello to me when I get home from work every day. I get greeted at the door by him, and we have conversations all the time. He doesn't get himself into trouble too much. He knows how to. He's like a dog. I can tell him to sit, lay down, back up, stop, and no. And he knows them, and he knows exactly what to do when I say it. It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
But that cat has traveled a lot of the country with me. I got him when I was living in South Carolina. I snuck him into a hotel when I was working the tornado in Kentucky, and it was during COVID, so they didn't clean your rooms every night, or they didn't clean them at all until you left. Well, I was in the same hotel for 4 months, and because the storm stuff, you're there for a while. And so my cat lived in a hotel room with me for 4 months, and he's great. I love him. He's my buddy.
I love it, man. Yeah, animals are absolutely amazing. It's funny because I got a dog and 2 cats, and absolutely, they all have their own individual personalities and what they like, what they don't like, and they know how to fucking push those buttons. You know, every one of them knows how to push that goddamn button, right? And in their own certain way. And you look at them, you're like, you realize I just choked. That's why I wish I'm a big Star Wars fan, right? And I always laugh sometimes. And my wife will look me on the couch and I'll be sitting there going like this with this face, like I'm force choking this bitch out right now. You don't even know, right? So yeah, I feel you on that, brother, man. I fucking love it. Bro, are you a coffee drinker?
I'm not. I'm one of the rare, like, people look at me funny. I used to be, I used to come downstairs in the morning and drink a pot of coffee with my mom, and probably 10 years ago, I just stopped. I needed it with so much cream and sugar to make it like to where I liked it, that it was just unhealthy at that point. Like,
So
I
it's
was
like a
drinking
Starbucks.
candy.
Right.
So there are the occasional days in the winter when I'm living up north, that I will have a cup of coffee in the morning. It's very rare. I did have a half a cup this morning because I needed some caffeine because waking up was a little rough. Uh, and but yeah, I'm not. I do love my occasional, like, the Dunkin' Donuts iced coffees that have so much crap in them, like cream and sugar and everything. Those are good. When I was doing storm work, they definitely got me through the morning. But yeah, regular coffee, I just don't do anymore.
Yeah, I feel
And I
you.
also, with my diet, I don't do energy drinks. I don't do soda at
No,
all. It's
me
like
neither.
number one, no soda, no energy drinks, no fast food.
Nope.
If you
Me too.
zero those things out, then the rest of it's pretty easy.
Yeah,
So,
I'm the same way. That's how I lost. I was like 270 pounds. I'm 210 now. I want to
nice.
get down to 200 and cutting all that bullshit out, right? And I love like processed sugar. I try to stay away as much as possible too. But dude, fuck, dude, you bring Sour Patch Kids around me, bro. It's like weakness like hell for me. I'm like a little kid drooling in the corner. I'm like, excuse me, can I have one of every color, one of those, please? And it's yeah, dude, I gotta have them. So yeah, don't
That's
bring
good.
Sour Patch Kids around me unless you intend on sharing. Thank you very much.
I'll know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
I know that's right, big bag of Sour Patch Kids. I'll be like, yeah, let's go. Oh, I love it. I love it, man. So listen, Kyle, tell us something we don't know about you at all.
Oh shit. That's a tough question, brother. Because most of it I don't want to tell you.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Uh, wow, you stumped me, bro. Something nobody knows. I mean, there's 100 answers.
First one that comes to head.
I don't
He's like,
like dessert.
okay, there you go. I don't like dessert. There it is, right? Listen,
I don't eat sweets. I don't like dessert.
I hate
Uh,
sauerkraut. I cannot stand sauerkraut. Like
I
I
love.
won't. Oh, dude, no, I can't, dude. I've tried it every way. My dad's like, I make it a different way. I'll try a bite. And I'm like, dude, it's still as nasty as ever, bro. Now, I don't like venison. Um,
Oh, here's one. So I like venison, but not if I killed the deer.
okay, I got
If
you.
it's a weird one, you know?
I try to do the whole hunting thing. Shot it, man, drug it, and gutted it, and puked my brains out. I was like, dude, it's just not
It's
me.
rough.
Like if the zombie apocalypse happened and I had to do it, yeah, it's fucking my
Yeah.
different mental mind state then,
I'm
right? But
glad I know
now,
how to do it in case I have
yeah,
to do it,
right. But other
for
than
sure.
that, nah, I'd rather just go down the store and spend $6 on some hamburger meat or whatever. And yeah, have a good burger, right? Let's just be honest, flank steak or something. Yeah, not for me, brother. So let me ask you this: are you a beer, wine, or bourbon type of guy?
Um, I like beers, like lagers, or like darker lagers or IPAs, but I don't drink them much just because they're super fattening,
Yeah, I
and
don't
I am
either.
trying to lose weight. I do like really good scotch, bourbon. I don't really buy it, but when I'm at somebody's house who has it, that's definitely a drink of mine. Uh, so I tend to stick to just weak liquor drinks. Couple when I get home, I go to bed. I hate being hungover.
Yeah.
I don't drink enough ever because if I was hungover, I wouldn't go to work. If I didn't go to work, I wouldn't have a job. So, but yeah, last night I had a couple beers and then it was champagne. But I do every once in a while I'll go out and buy a really nice bottle of like Macallan 15 or something like that that will last me, a
A
few
hot minute.
months because I'll
Yeah.
just have a couple fingers every once in a while.
I'm not, dude. I can't. My body just don't do brown liquor. I got to do the clears like vodka and stuff like that. If I
Yeah,
drink
vodka's
brown,
my
like, yeah.
my
If I do, like, I could do like one rum and coke or maybe two, but anything past that, man, I wake up the next day, my freaking head is pounding.
Mhm.
My body's like just super dehydrated. The brown stuff just don't gel with me.
I
But with
used to
saying,
drink it's
go
the
ahead.
sugar.
Yeah, it's the
It's
sugar. Yeah.
I used to drink a ton of Captain and Coke was my go-to, 20 years ago, and I could drink a lot of it. But I would wake up feeling, I mean, it's probably due to Captain and Coke why I don't drink dark liquor anymore
Yeah.
because the hangovers were atrocious.
Rough, dude. Rough. And they're good. Everybody loves a Captain Coke. Sweet. It's good.
Oh,
It goes so good
beautiful.
with the Coke. You get three or four, and you can drink them so easy. Next thing you
Yep.
know, you're like, I don't feel it always made me sick to my stomach. All that sugar. I was like, I don't feel so good. So yeah. I feel you on that, brother, man. So let me ask you this. What's your worst habit?
Smoking. I smoke cigarettes,
I
and
got you.
I've been through so many horrible habits in my life. Of I'm not going to get into them, but smoking is the one thing that I haven't let go of, and I need to. But I don't hack. Like I don't have any residual thing. Like I don't wake up in the morning and cough up black. Like everyone's like, oh, I started coughing up black shit and I quit smoking. And like I feel great. My lungs were just checked a couple months ago and they're fine. Like so it's a horrible excuse to keep doing it, but yeah, smoking is my worst habit.
I used to smoke when my son was born. I always said when I have a kid, I'm gonna quit. And about 6 months I stopped. Then I started vaping, and that turned to a fucking thing, right? Then I quit vaping, and then I go out and get drunk with a couple of my buddies, and he's hitting his vape and smoking. Man, let me hit that thing one time, right? Next thing I know, I'm back at it again. And then so I recently just quit vaping. And it's hard. Like it's rough, but man, like anything, it's all right here. And if you're not ready to do it, bro, no matter what anybody says, you're not gonna do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, but there was nothing like a cigarette after dinner or all that good stuff, right? It's just something that
Dinner, coffee, and sex.
yeah, facts 110%.
I
It's the
think
best thing ever. Yeah. 100%. So Kyle, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, man. Is that something you do too as well?
I've done a few if I'm on a long drive, I've done that. Like I listened to Hunt for Red October on audio CD. I've done some James Patterson novels. The Alex Cross stuff. Um, but other than that, I mean, it's rare for me. But if I'm like on a 6, 7, 8, 9 hour drive, uh, that is what it gets it the time. It takes up more time. Like you're not listening to 103-minute songs,
Yeah.
to try and pass the time. But
Something you done listened to 5 billion times over before,
yeah,
right? Yeah, I feel you. So I listen to a shit ton of audiobooks. It's one of my main things I go to on road trips. When I'm in the shower, bro, I'll freaking put on the audiobook or whatever. So right now
Mhm.
I'm listening to Anthony Bourdain's Medium Raw.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's a good book. I listened to his first one, Confidential. Something Confidential is really good too. I listen to obviously a lot of road racing books and F1 books and all that good stuff. It's fun, man. It's a different journey, right? So
what do you
yeah,
use as a source for your like? Where do you get them from?
and Apple. I'm an Apple guy, so I got Apple
Okay.
books, and I just go on there and put in what I want, download it, and there it is. So, but yeah, that's what I use and listen to Star Wars. But man, there's a bunch of fucking books I listen to and podcasts, bro. I listen to a shit ton of podcasts, right?
Mhm.
What podcast do you listen to? Excuse me.
Honestly, just yours.
Really?
Yeah.
Bro, no
I'm not
way.
like, I'll watch clips of Joe Rogan. Um, I've seen a couple funny clips of, God, I can't remember his name now. It's the guy's been around forever, and he smokes pot with his guests.
Oh,
Older guy.
brain fart.
Yeah. I mean, he used to host, like, a super popular news show.
I can't
Anyways,
think of his name, but yes, I know who you're talking about,
yeah.
and I hope
So
all
other
you
than that,
guys do too.
I'm not, like, dedicated to any podcast, but I try and watch yours when I can, so
Well, thank you. It's an honor. Really is, man.
I might get more into them now that I've been a part of one, so maybe I'll start branching out,
Yeah,
checking some.
well, listen, I can give you some recommendations when you're ready to make that leap. Hit me up. I'll shoot you
Okay.
some great recommendations for not only motorcycle podcasts, but other good podcasts too that I personally like. So yeah. So growing up, bro, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So you a Star Wars or a Star Trek guy?
Oh, Star Wars.
What's
Absolutely.
what Star Wars character would Kyle McGill be?
Luke. I don't know.
Luke,
Luke, I am your
your
father.
father. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe
Oh,
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar, dude, he was one of the characters I couldn't stand in Star Wars. Was Jar Jar? I'm like, bro, really? Y'all couldn't have picked something else? Yeah, it was. Yeah, freaking. It's just a cool question, right? Because I'm a Star
It
Wars nerd,
is.
so I find myself where, honestly, I would. And I really like Darth Maul, right? I wouldn't be a Sith, but I wouldn't be a Jedi. To me, I think a Jedi is kind of like a cult, right? Because you can't love other people and get married and all that. Like, what the hell is that about, right? If you're a Jedi, you're supposed to love everybody and save everybody, right? I
Yeah.
don't get that part of it, but I'd walk that thin line, I guess, between love and hate, right? Which I'm not bad, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't just go out and seek visions, but I would help everybody. You know what I mean? So, but not be uh, a slave to the Jedi Order, I should say, right? And I
Yeah.
would love to hang out with Chewie. Chewie would be my dude. I'd be hanging out with the big hairy guy. Have something to keep me warm when I'm in a cold place, right? Big furry teddy bear. It's hilarious, dude.
Actually,
Celebrity. Go ahead.
I'd probably gear myself more towards um Anakin. Now that
Yeah,
I think, I mean, honestly, I said Luke because he was the first person that popped into my head, and we're both blonde. Well, I used to be blonde, but uh, Anakin had a troubled upbringing. Like a very strange everything that was going on in his head, and you know, so I can kind of not his final decisions, but I can relate more to him.
yeah, girl. Yeah, absolutely. And then so we got Shannon Casey. What is up, my man? He says, listening, bro.
That's Shannon. He's my boy. He raced back in the day. I believe we actually raced around the same time at Summit Point, just in different classes. Um, he he works. He lives close to me. He works with Andrea's husband, Eric Helmbach, um, and just a member of the racing family for sure.
I love it.
He's
Well,
got
thank you
a
for joining
son.
in.
Sorry, Nolan, his son, is hopefully going to start racing, or at least getting on the track next year. So we're trying to help him through, growing pains and get him out there and part of the family. So Shannon, thank you for getting on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Shannon. Thank you so much. And man, love to hear of new people getting into the sport, man. That's what helps us grow, right? Too, as well. And yeah, man, the beautiful journey that awaits you. I can't wait, right? It's freaking awesome. It's the best journey ever, man. For real. Embrace it. It's like I tell people all the time, even when you're in a suck every day, man, embrace it. Embrace, at least stop what you're doing every day for at least 2 minutes. Take deep breaths and enjoy the moment, whatever moment it is. You might be at work, you might be driving home from work, your boss might have just gave you some shit and you're thinking to yourself, fuck you, right? Like, enjoy that moment, right? Deep breath, enjoy it, embrace it, and come out happier at the other end. And one thing I also tell everybody is none of us are strangers. We're just friends that haven't met yet, right?
There
Um,
you go.
it's even though there's certain people's energies that don't match, but I guarantee if you sat down and had a genuine conversation with him or her, you would find at least 5 things in common, and all that negative energy would be positive energy now, and you wouldn't have that no more, right? So that's goes along with what, yeah. So we're all friends and family. We just don't know it yet, right?
That's right.
I love it, bro. So are you watching anything on Netflix or Amazon or anything like that you can recommend to people?
So yeah, I trying to think of what I watched recently because I am kind of a Netflix binge freak on certain shows. I'm trying to think of some of my recent ones. Oh well, Peaky Blinders. If you haven't seen Peaky
Great.
Blinders, you have to watch Peaky Blinders. Uh, the man, I'm drawing a brain fart just like trying to remember that podcast guy's name. Um, a funny one, and you can laugh at me if you want, but Young Sheldon. I watched them all back to back. Took me a few months, but because the main show that came after it was hilarious. I can't remember, but anyways, Young Sheldon, cool series. It kind of reaches out on a lot of different aspects of life, and kind of in the background that it's not just a comedy about a smart little genius. There's a lot of life lessons in there. Um, some other ones, trying to get watch as much Yellowstone as I can. I love it. I just unfortunately got scattered throughout, and this whole new season just came out, and I haven't been able to watch a single one of them because I haven't finished the story up to that point, and I don't want to ruin shit. But that's definitely a good one. I want to check out the Yellowstone backstory, 1890 or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
1893 or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll find a show, like a random one, and I'll just watch it. I like the ones that it's not really like seasons, but it's like an extended movie, like 6 parts, like
Yeah.
6 1-hour
Yep.
sections that make like a 6-hour movie.
Yep.
I like stuff like that too. So
Yeah. So I just got done watching Senna on Netflix. It's
okay.
absolutely amazing. I'm a fucking nerd for The Walking Dead. So I'm watching Fear the Walking Dead, which is good. Damn, what's the other one? Ozark. I've been watching Ozark
Oh, I
too.
watched that.
Yeah.
Ozark was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, all the Breaking Bad and all that shit, right? But yeah, man, I love sitting down when I have the opportunity and the chance to sit down and actually watch TV. Me and my
Yeah.
son, we're Star Wars nerds, so we've been watching that new Star Wars. Every Star Wars thing that comes out on Disney, we freaking watch it, and movies and all that good stuff. So yeah, man, absolutely, bro. So let me ask you this, man. Are you a PlayStation or an Xbox guy?
I knew this one was good. So I'm not a gamer.
Okay.
The last game system I owned was a Nintendo 64.
It's been a long time, buddy.
It's been a long time, and I never got back into them. And it's nothing against gamers, but I've seen some that motherfucker needs to put down the game and go outside.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that.
And it's nothing against most of you, but
No.
I had a roommate. He was really bad, and
Yeah.
this was years ago. And all he did was sit there and smoke weed and play video games, and get fat and lazy and dirty. And that's just not me. So,
Yeah, there's more to life, right? People, I enjoy video games, but even if I had all day to sit down and play, I'd probably do it maybe 2 or 3 hours at the most, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm not playing this for at least 4 or 5 days.
yeah,
I'm not the type of person where I could just sit down and just chill. Like this is the most sit down at one time, unless me, my son, or my wife are watching something on TV. Other than that, I'm on the phone or whatever, laundry, life, all that shit in between. I just can't find myself sitting
yeah,
down and just stay. Even when I'm at the racetrack, bro, I gotta go around as soon as I get there and say hi to all my friends, give hugs. I'll be cheering for you. I'll let you guys later. And then of course come by and say, man, I'm hungry. You guys cooking lunch yet? All that good stuff, man. So
yeah.
yeah, it's
Somebody actually gave me an old PlayStation 3 like 2 months ago, and it's still in the back seat of my truck. Like I haven't even brought it in. I might just gift it off to somebody else, but yeah, I mean it's cool, but it's just not me, you know.
Nah, I do, trust me. I feel you on that. So, do you watch any other sports like football, basketball, baseball, or any of that?
A little bit. I watch a little bit of football. I used to gamble on football, and I gave up the gambling part of it. So that also, for a number of years, stopped me from watching it. Just so I didn't. It's an addiction.
Yeah,
But this last year, I've started watching some games again. I enjoy watching it. Uh, I'm, a Redskins. Well, I grew up a Patriots fan. Grew up in New England. I've been living in the DC area off and on for over 20 years, so I'm definitely a Skins fan. I won't call them the Commanders. I refuse to. Uh, and a little bit of a baseball fan. It's a little slow for me, but Boston Red Sox definitely my team. Um, Hockey is pretty cool, but I don't, unless my roommate wants to throw it on, I don't really watch it. But you put on a motorcycle race, and I won't leave the TV till it's over.
that's
In
me,
fact,
man.
when I'm watching at home, the TV is a little far from the couch. So when I turn on, because I have the Moto America streaming, uh, I pull my roommate's footstool up in front of the TV, and I, I sit and I watch it from this because I want to see like every little aspect of the bike, moving around, or when you just lose traction for a second, and 90% of the people watching the race don't see it happen. And I'm like, that dude almost just crashed. And they're like, what are you talking about? He was just going around the turn. I'm like, no, his tire slid out like this far, his front tire, so you put that on TV, I'm glued. So
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. So growing up, Bo Jackson was my dude. So I'm a LA Raider fan, even though I don't
mhm.
watch no football except for the Super Bowl and shit. Even when the Super Bowl, I go just hang out with my buddies for the Super Bowl party and eat wings and cheese dip and
Yeah,
all that shit, right? But I do watch soccer. I'm a big soccer fan, so I
okay.
watch MSL and European soccer. Grow up, I love the sport of soccer. I get a lot of shit from my American friends too. Oh, they're a bunch of pussies. When they get hit, they fall on the ground, dude. Listen, I get it. Right, I get it. Some of them do get hurt seriously. Some of them, it's all part of the show, right?
Yeah,
But whatever. I do that. So, and I play FIFA on my PlayStation when I get a chance and shit like that. But yeah, other than that, it's hockey too. Hockey's really cool. I've been to my first live hockey game. I was actually invited as a guest through Allstate Insurance. I have a friend that
mhm.
works there, and they invited me with this VIP. So I was down on the floor, literally pressed up against the plastic where they're
Nice.
smashing up into it. And I was like, now this I can get into, right? And
Where
then
was that?
over here in Roanoke, man, and then it fucking blew my mind, man. All of a sudden, everybody starts throwing their hats and shit out in the thing, and I'm like, nah, I ain't throwing my hat out there. Forget that. This was given to me. This is one of my friends. Yeah, I ain't throwing that shit out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's just different, right? And the
sure.
fights and all that. Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. It's something I can get into, and then I really pay attention to a new sport and try to understand what's going on because when you don't really get it, right? So they were explaining to me, and man, there's a lot of skill in ice hockey, and it makes some plays where I'm like, holy shit, did you see that? Like that's fucking insane. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, big shout out to hockey too, man. It's
I like curling. You ever watch curling at the Olympics? The
no.
big stones that they slide down the. Oh, look it up. I mean, it's a joke. I do. I actually, when the Winter Olympics are on, I love watching the curling competition. It's one of the slowest, most boring things, but it's just look it up, and
I
then you'll
will.
laugh.
Yeah, I will. I will. So did you watch like BSB or the Isle of Man TT or MotoGP or anything?
I watched. So we have the MotoGP streaming at work. So I get to watch, but I'm working, and the only thing my Hulu will record is just the main race. So I get to watch it, in the days that follow at work. Because I can play the recordings of Moto 2 and Moto 3 because I love Moto 3. Obviously being on the little bike, but um, and I did not get to watch any BSB this year.
Ooh, no, I'm just playing.
I have some friends across the pond that would send me little updates here and there, but uh, yeah. So yeah, I have the Moto America. I don't like paying for streaming services, so I use somebody else's password for my Moto America one. I use the work one for MotoGP, and I haven't found a TV station that plays BSB. So
Listen, I say it all the time. You can watch BSB for free on their website, Bennett'sBritishSuperbikes.com. There you go. You're freaking welcome, my friend. During the race weekend, go to the website. You ain't even got to sign up an account or nothing. You just scroll down on the main. You'll see a yellow live. Boom, click on it. If it's not live, like they only show it live on Sundays and some on Saturdays. But
what is it?
Sundays,
Bennett's?
Bennett'sBritishSuperbikes.com. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
And then Fridays and Saturdays, and at Cadwell Park, it's actually a Saturday, Sunday, Monday race weekend event because it's a bank holiday over there or a boxing holiday. I can't remember. But to have something in the screen and there in the corner says live TSL timing. You click on that, it has you could hear the guys commentate on all the races and all the classes during practices and qualifyings and all that. So you get a gist of who's going to be where. And I'm a huge fan of BSB. Everybody knows this is my favorite sports production racing in the world. It's not because I think they're better or their tracks are better, any of that bullshit. It's because they freaking race super bikes with no electronics on them, hardly any. So it's old school, proper fucking ray racing where this is your traction control. This is your wheelie, your rear brake climbing up over the tank as the tires wear out. You change body position, riding style to adapt. Listen, that's proper freaking racing. I'm not saying that the new school technology with the auto suck, bang, squish, blow, blipper, all this bullshit that goes on, right? I'm not saying it's not cool. It is. And I'm not saying you can't learn to go fast doing that, but I feel like it takes away a natural ability of what riding used to be back in the day before all that shit,
couldn't agree more,
got implicated. So yes, BSB, Bennett's British Superbike. It's BENNETTS, BritishSuperbikes.com. Boom. And the TT plus Isle of Man, that is by far, Shannon. If somebody says, Simca, you can only watch one race a year, it'd be the TT, hands down. No bullshit. For those 2 weeks, don't talk to me. Don't call me. No podcast, no bullshit, no nothing. That's what I'm going to do. Forget MotoGP, forget all the others. I would be TT 100%.
The Isle of Man is unreal. Oldest race in the world, too.
Yeah. Well, it's a trivia question that I ask people, man. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna ask you this same trivia question.
Okay.
There's actually two of them, right? So in 1961, Honda won their very first TT race. Who was the rider?
In 61?
61. It was the first time Honda ever won a TT race.
Did his last name start with a G?
Nope.
All right. Then I don't know.
Mike Hellwood.
No way. I almost oh my God. I thought he was later than that.
Nope. And then the second trivia question is in what year and what track was the very first Grand Prix race held at? And I mean, in Grand Prix, now it's called MotoGP. Mm-hmm. So when they introduced Grand Prix racing, what was the very first track? And what year did they have a race on? It's not part of GP because they actually quit it. That's a big hint. And they don't race there no more. Well, they still race there, but just not Grand Prix level.
I want to say Monza, but they still race at Monza, don't they?
Yeah, no. It's 1949 at the Isle of Man TT. Because the Isle of Man TT used to be a sanctioned FIM Grand Prix race that you earn points for the championship.
Oh, wow.
And then
learn something every day.
Absolutely. Right. Well, listen, we're an hour and 30 of this. We're not going to stay on here too much longer. So I got one more question for you, and then I'm going to let you give all your shout outs, and I'm going to give all my shout outs too as well. So right now, as we're sitting here in this moment, if you could have any team in Moto America, Kyle McGill, Coleman Power Sports Racing, right? What manufacturer motorcycle would you have, and who's the two current riders you'd put on your team?
I would run Superbike on a Yamaha with Bobier and I think Blake Davis is going to come out of nowhere and
Bro.
crush.
Dude, big shout out to his dad, Mike and Blake Davis. You guys are absolutely proper mega. I love them. But, dude, they're 45 minutes down the road from me. They live in Lynchburg. They're not far
You know,
from me at all.
I have Blake's old bike. That's the bike I'm going to be racing. Sure.
Bro, freaking awesome, dude. Yeah, they're absolutely amazing. I'm a huge fan of Blake and Mike, and it's always an honor to catch him at the track.
Mike's a wonderful dude.
Yes, he is. Y'all stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all just stay tuned to Pin the Gas.
Tuned.
But right here, dude, that's Cam Bobier's Attack Yamaha.
Yep.
Front fairing. I got his tail section hung up right here, and then this gray whole tank shroud is actually Alex Marquez's Mark BDS actual Moto 2 tank shroud signed by him.
Nice.
So yeah, man, I'm a nerd. And then of course Miguel Dumel, and then Joey Dunlop. At
my hero.
You
Miguel.
know, I know. That's why I pointed it out, man. Miguel Dumel on the RC45, Joey Dunlop 2000 last win at the TT on the RC51, and then below it is Giacomo Agostini at the TT.
Do you remember the Daytona 200 motorcycle arcade game with the little bikes that would tilt back and forth?
I do.
I was living in Phoenix. It was the 96, I think, Arizona Superbike Challenge. And Miguel was out there. Jamie James won the race that weekend, but I was at the mall at a Dave & Buster's and walking by the Daytona 200 game, and Miguel came up, and I got to end up playing that game with Miguel Duhamel. We're doing the whole Daytona 200 thing, and no, I did not win. Neither did he. My buddy did. But it was pretty cool to meet one of my heroes and then get to play, that game with him. So,
it's always, man, I've been doing this for a while now, and I met so many proper mega friends in the sport. And when you get to know somebody on a personal level, you just realize they're just normal humans like me and you, right? They have that special ability somewhere in between these two ears right here, where they are just fucking phenomenal on two wheels, right? Do things that you watch and you look at and you're like, holy shit, dude. Like, yeah, and you're a fan because you love motorcycles. And what else is there to life? If you don't love motorcycles, I don't know what you're doing with your life, right? And I also tell people this, man, if the world would be a better place, first, if everybody had animals, but if everybody had a passion, like me and Kyle and Jessica, Shannon, everybody watching, road racing, whatever it is, crochet, making movies, freaking hanging lights, whatever it is, gardening, this world would be a much happier and better place. People would love themselves a lot more and be happier as a human being, right? So yeah, everybody needs to go out there and go find a passion. I don't care what it is, drawing, writing letters to people in prison, it don't matter. Just find that passion, be happy, smile, put out positive energy, and love everyone. So let's go. Let's freaking go. But listen, this has been absolutely amazing. I didn't even plan on going an hour and a half, but as always, it always happens when you sit down, you have a proper mega, really good time with your friends sitting before you, talking all things motorcycles, right? So big shout out to Next Level Financial, all your financial needs. Listen, people, talk to them. It's something that you want to get ahead. You want to make life easy. Life's a struggle as hard as it is right now. That's one less thing you got to worry about. So hit them up. Bisontrack.com. People, listen, bisontrack.com. Do yourself. Love yourself right there. Yeah, I'm talking to you. If you're listening, I'm talking to you too. Sign up. Get you a full custom suit. Trust me. You'll love it. Chef Eats. Everybody hears me talk about Chef Eats. Best meals you can get, period. Sign up for Chef Eats. If you haven't, what are you waiting on? Again, treat yourself. Flying Eyes Optics for all your sunglass needs. Mine's actually not right here right now because they're in my wife's car. Otherwise, I'd show you. But they're sunglasses made in America, made in assemble in Austin, Texas. They're made to wear underneath motorcycle helmets, pilot helmets, bicycle helmets, whatever. You can get a prescription. They're so light. I feel like I don't even, when I have them on, I forget I even have them on. But the problem is I can't keep up with them because everybody keeps stealing them from me. That's how much they love them. But if you guys want to check them out, you can go to Flying Eyes Optics, use a discount code PINTOGAS10. And again, you are absolutely welcome. And I got Oakleys and Ray-Bans and Costas and all that, right? But Flying Eyes Optics, I'm not saying that. I don't even get paid to say it, right? Grant's a friend of mine. His company is absolutely amazing, and so are the sunglasses. So you should check them out. Big shout out to SFL Mini GP, man, in Florida. Michael Carrera, my man Juju in the British Talent Cup. Big shout out to them. I support them. To me, they're some of the best the best organization in America as far as the future people coming to the sport, man. And in New Jersey, right? Brandon Posh, Gus Rodeo, Avery Dreyer, Isaac Woodworth, Element. Where do you think they come from? SFL Mini GP. And if you have a child or you're 50, 60, 20s or 30s, always wanted to drag your knees, look no further, sign up. No bullshit hassle. They provide all the gear, the helmets, the boots, the gloves, the bikes. All you got to do is register and sign up. So again, treat yourself. What are you waiting for? Go out there, drag that knee. And most importantly, as Kyle said, have fun because that's what it's all about. Big shout out to RD Racing out there and BSB. My mate Jake Marshman. I love you guys so much. You guys are absolutely amazing. Kia Walker, everybody on the whole team. Nothing but the best of luck next year. My man Jim at Vet2 Track. So all my veterans out there, he has a proper mega program. His whole thing is curing PTSD one lap at a time. Sign up. Any of my veterans, trust me, it's a proper mega time. And again, you are absolutely welcome. 64-degree racing. My man Tate, bro, makes some of the most amazing undersuits you can buy on the market. He sent me a 2-piece undersuit, the XC-1. I absolutely love it. I'm a Bison ambassador. I love my one-piece Bison suit. But as Kyle will tell you, and so is everybody else that loves motorcycle racing, you've done any track day, do yourself a favor, your dog and everybody else around you, don't bring one undersuit. Trust me, you don't want to do it. Have at least 4 or 5. Hell, bring 10. Be majorly prepared in that department, right?
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
So absolutely big shout out to 64-degree racing, Ghetto Customs for all your custom body work. Chris Parrish, everybody knows who he is. He makes some of the best body work out there. The Clothing Kings, my man Martin out there in the UK. You guys can go to clothingkings.co.uk and order all your Pin to Gas merch out there. So thank you so much, Martin. You're absolutely amazing. Big shout out to Road Racing World and the Road Racing World Fund. Listen, everybody needs to sign up and go out there and donate to the air fence, because without the air fences, without guys like Kyle and Mark and all them with the corner marshals, we're not doing track days. We're not racing. We ain't doing shit but riding on the street, and that's not what we want to do, right? So let's freaking go. Sign up. Every donation helps. I don't care if it's $5. Donate it, right? It all goes to an absolute proper mega cause. And if you're lucky, you show up to the track in Moto America. I forget what the minimum donation is. I think it's $350 or $400. You get a 2-up seat ride with the legend Chris Ulrich, and he will show you the proper mega way in lines around a racetrack. And you're on the back, and you're going to go in a turn one going, stop, 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 stop. And he's still wide open on the gas. You can be like, oh, I can go this fast. You're going to learn a lot. Trust me, right? Yes, Matt, donate now. Absolutely right. And big shout out to Carnes Performance in Pennsylvania. We went out there. Jason Carnes, everybody knows he has a races in Junior Cup with Levy Batty and Elise. So absolute problem mega. We actually went out there and picked up my son a dirt bike for Christmas. So I'm a big supporter of Coleman Power Sports. Big shout out to them. Everybody in Virginia, go out there, get you a dirt bike. Listen, this is my thing. Support everybody you know in our beautiful industry. Trust me, it goes a long way. Don't go down the street and buy something from some dealership. You don't even know nobody there.
Stop buying tires online.
Listen, seriously, donate, go and support all your friends. Show all that love and support. Yeah, dude, for real, man. No bullshit. And big shout out to my man Brandon Cray too. If you're not racing in the KYT helmet, you need to. They're absolutely amazing helmets. Price, you KYT, show up. You see them more all around the world. And if you're not racing on K-Tech suspension, all my buddies out there, Dakari, and big shout out to Birch and Kendall and all of them. Absolutely amazing. But listen, I've been doing this a whole lot right now. I'm gonna leave the floor to Kyle. Kyle, tell everybody where they can find you, where all the love and support, Coleman Power Sports, the whole 9.
Right on. So yeah, if you're local in Virginia, and I mean there are plenty of choices out there for shops to go to. Coleman Power Sports. I've been in the industry 30 years. I've worked at dealerships all over the country. This place really is sales, service, and parts. They're amazing. Kim Harrison runs a really tight ship there. I work in the service department, senior service advisor. Greg LaRue, who's the first person I want to give a shout out to for being an amazing friend, an amazing boss. and, keeping me in the sport, allowing me to take the time off to do the racing I'm going to do this year. But yeah, keep your money local, guys. These dealerships are, a lot of them are struggling at this point because these big box, I call them big box stores, but Revzilla and everyone's like, I'll save money buying tires from Revzilla. Well, call me first because the last 3 times I price matched my stuff to Revzilla, we were less. And we give you 35% discount on labor if you buy the tires from us. So if you come to me with a set of tires that you bought off Revzilla, you're paying full pop for labor. It's costing you an extra $100. I guarantee you didn't save $100 buying those things online. So keep the money local. We're out here, we're working. We're not 4 people in a warehouse. So, enough about that. But I want to give a shout out to, I said, thank you, Greg. I love you to death. You're my best friend. Jessie Bolin, I'm pretty sure she's been signed in since we first started an hour and 40 minutes ago. She is, she's my best friend. She's a sounding board for me. I get advice from her. I give her advice. Her family, Isaiah and Noah, I'm so proud of you guys. They both just got accepted into the Air Force, and Isaiah got a phone call from the Space Force. He hasn't even gone to boot camp, and he's already a member of the Space Force. Like, I'm so proud of these guys. So I love you guys. Ryan Jones, we go so far back. He's such an amazing human being. Jeff Gokenauer and Brian Waugh. I can't say thank you enough for those years that I wasn't racing and you kept me going to the track. I would get a phone call from Ryan, like, Kyle, I'm doing, VIR, or I'm doing Road Atlanta, and Brian and Jeff can't make it. Can you be my pit crew? Absolutely. So I was kind of I'd call it his Southern crew chief. But those dudes, I mean, they are Ryan and Ruby and Dylan and their family, I want to shout out to the entire Mark crew. You guys have kept me going as well. Sue Sharp and David Graham. As we all know, we lost David recently to cancer, and cancer fucking sucks.
Yes, it does.
But those guys were like my surrogate parents. And to have them there handing me the trophy at Daytona when I had the happiest moment of my life was an honor. There's a ton of other people I love. I mean, Greg Abrahams at work. Thank you for being a dick to me every day, and punching me in the arm because you can punch me from 6 feet away. It keeps me on my toes. Rick Beggs, thank you for giving me a job when I first moved back, and thank you for now working with me, at our job. There's a ton of people out there. We could go on for 40 minutes, but I'm not going to do that. But just thanks to everyone in the road race community who's made me a part of their family. You're a part of my family. And we're all traveling down this crazy fucking road and, doing everything we can to keep it going.
Listen, absolutely. I love every single one of y'all too in this beautiful, crazy journey of what we call our beautiful circus, right? It's yeah, man, there's nothing like it. But you guys stay tuned because me and Kyle are definitely gonna sit down for a part 2 now that he's super comfortable, right? No worries no more. So yeah, let's go, man. And listen, I'm serious. Everybody from Mark, everybody listening to this from Coleman and all that. Kyle, let's make it happen. Y'all hit me up, send me a message. If
Absolutely.
we're not friends on Facebook, hit me up on Facebook, shoot me a messenger. I'll give everybody my number. I'll tell you my number right now. It's 540-588-5562. Let me see if I can post it up in the comment right here. You guys shoot me a text if I don't get back to you. Actually, when I get done with this, I got to go meet up with my family. So if you shoot me a text, I'll text you back, but I won't have long to, I won't be able to talk. 540-588-5562. Here it is. This is my number. Boom. That's
There you
me.
go.
That's it. I'm right here in Roanoke, Virginia. I'm not far from him. And me and you need to plan a trip where I can come down there and hang out today with you guys at Coleman Power Sports and
Yeah,
do some live
absolutely.
videos and have a proper eat some lunch. And
Yeah.
man, good times, good times. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this podcast. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to sit down with my man, Kyle McGill, AKA Special K, as you guys know him by, right? Let's freaking go. Listen, this episode will be out on Spotify, iHeart. I finally got it figured out. So this morning I pushed out 8 or 9 podcasts. So if you guys go to Spotify, you can check it out. You can also listen to all my podcasts on Podbean. I have over 300 episodes on Podbean. For some reason on Spotify, it only shows I got 100, and I've been going back and forth with Spotify about this whole thing. I'm not sure what's going on, but we will figure it out. So if you want to listen to all my episodes, you go to Podbean. The app is free. You can go online and listen to them. It's all free. If you have not yet, please go to all my stuff, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. I love every single one of you. It's an absolute honor to do this, and I hope the rest of your day is as proper mega as every single one of you. And Kyle, before I hit this end button, bro, is there anything else you want to say before we get off here?
Thank you for everything. Thank you for making this go smooth. I have to tell you, it was a stressor coming in. Thank everyone out there in the whole racing community, motorcycle community, road, whatever. Mark, I need to turn around and show you the Mark logo, the big one.
I love it.
Just amazing people, and they help keep all this going. All my friends, family, everyone has supported me through all this, and hopefully this season goes well. I'm coming back out. I'm going to see what I can do. I got some, from looking at it, some stiff competition, and we'll see what happens.
Listen, my friend, you will absolutely be on top of the box. I'll be cheering for you. Dude, I'm not too far from all those tracks. So yeah, you just let me know, send me the schedule. I'll make it out, make an appearance. And
I'll be at CMP April 4th, and then 3 races at Summit throughout the year. Just look at the ASRA schedule, and I'll be at most of those.
All right. I will. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And Jessica, right back at you. Thank you so much for all the love and support. And that post earlier, again, you made my day, Jessica. But yeah, listen, you guys stay tuned. Y'all see me coming up before Christmas. I got several other podcasts scheduled before we start our beautiful journey in 2025. And anybody in VA, Coleman Power Sports, and show up to the track, support my man Kyle right here, and show all your love and support. And I appreciate you guys, and we will see you soon.
Oh, real quick.
Go ahead.
The only time I will allow you to shop on the internet is if you go to Greg Spears Enterprises and buy your racing bits from him. Then you can spend your money online.
I love it, man. I love it. Listen, they just added this new feature. It said stay in the studio until the outro video finishes playing or the broadcast may not end properly. Cool. Let's try this out. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time. I appreciate you. Let's see if this works, Kyle. Hang on. Let's see if this works.